Hey, hey, how's everybody doing today? We're about to kick off a really fun, hopeful live stream of building a design portfolio with Webflow. So this is something I started last week, and yeah, finally ready to get it into Webflow, get a website going. So thanks for tuning in. If you're here, leave a quick note in chat, say hello. Would love to hear from you. Questions, comments as we go through this. Bring them on. Otherwise, we're gonna dig right in because we've got a lot to do today, and I don't have too much time. But yeah, let's go ahead and kick this off. So, if you weren't here last week, we essentially broke down how I think about building a portfolio or a digital website portfolio. And this is a lot of what we covered last week, talking about who I'm building it for, why I'm updating it, giving myself like a guiding direction or principles for how I want to build this, breaking down what kind of pages I'll need to build, and then started exploring what kind of content might be on those pages. We then took a stab at kind of exploring multiple layouts and where I landed is something like this, essentially, where the goal for me is to create this landing page that essentially acts as an overview of my portfolio. Uh, Anyone viewing this can get a real quick sense for the kind of work I've done. They can see some preview images for the work I've done, explore some of my independent work, and then dive into specific case studies. I also have this idea for like a ticker essentially going through some kind of announcement or something. So that's what I want to rebuild in Webflow today. Um, this is my current design portfolio, and it's really outdated. I built this current version using React. It was like one of the very first experiments I did with React on the web, so it's a little like hacky. It's got like this weird styling kind of problem, but it does work. I just want to explore Webflow because I want more control over my portfolio. I also want to be able to manage it a little bit more effectively than something like building it from React. So that's the goal today. That's what we'll be going through. Again, if you have questions, comments, ideas, you just want to say hi, you want to talk about anything at all related to design, just leave a comment in the chat and I'd love to chat with you all. Otherwise, I'm going to go straight to Webflow and get started. So I already set up an account. I am somewhat familiar with Webflow. I've built websites in the past with it, but it has been a very long time since I've actually done anything in the tool. So we're going to be doing this together, kind of figuring out how to build this portfolio website in Webflow. You can actually see I've already started this like scrappy version here from a while ago, and I don't think it's going to work too well. So I'm going to start cleaning up some of this and see what we can do. And like I said, if you have questions or anything as we go through this, just leave them in the chat. So the very first thing I want to do is work on the navigation. It's something that's universal and it's going to exist throughout the website. I need to get it so I can navigate the website. And I can see in my design that it's really simple. Got a nice text header for my name and then some navigation items. And one of the things I want to do is ensure that any interactive element on my portfolio is like semi-bold or bold. So you can see like these links will be semi-bold. This explore link is bold. The label up here for the company or the project is bold. And that's just like a subtle way in my mind to communicate to users. This is interactive. You can interact with this. It's not meant to be super clear. Don't read too much into it, but that's my thinking. So let's go ahead and start on that navigation, which I already have a nice layout here. I think in Webflow you can create a symbol. So Webflow calls components symbols, and I want to make this navigation bar into a symbol. So I'm just going to right click and do create symbol, and I'm going to name it navigation bar. And one thing that Webflow does really nicely that I love is they give you preset components. So like layouts of like navigation bars or hero sections. And the nice thing about those is that they're already responsive. So if I go to like tablet size here in Webflow, I can see my navigation already collapses down. And then as I go to like mobile, it also collapses down. I'll need to fix the line height here for this text, however. So I think I can do that just by having mobile selected and then coming to the right-hand side of the screen and adjusting that text, I think. Maybe. Oh, what I need to do though is I need to go to the actual navigation bar component or symbol. I don't know how to do that though. I think it's stored somewhere in here. Yeah, here we go. So if I, okay. I want to edit this. How do I edit it? Let me out. If I click on it twice, I think it's just trying to add it. So I'm assuming if I go into this, how do I do this? Oh, I'm on the wrong tab. So like I said, it's going to take me a while to ramp up here. We're just kickstarting the live stream, so we'll have some fun. So if I go to the styles thingamajiggy here, now I can edit the line height. So I want to come down here. I think it's this one. And I'll just go like, I'll just do a few more points here. So it's doing percentage base, which I think is okay for me. I'm not going to worry about that. So it looks good. So now if I go back, it should be great. Okay. There's some other things that are going on here. And the first thing is like the padding or margins or something on this header is really screwing me up because the name looks like it's not quite centered. I don't know if that's right though. Maybe I won't worry about it. All right, in that case, I'm just gonna go straight to these nav items, and this looks right. If I look at my design, one thing that I decided while I was designing is the order of these links. And so what I want to do is switch about and blog. So I'm just going to drag that over. I don't know how to do this. I think it might be easier if I just do this. I don't want you inside of that though. All right, it's giving me problems. So what I want to try to do is, I think there's a tree of elements. Yeah, so I'm just going to swap these two here. Super easy. Okay. I mean, that's that's the header, the navigation bar. Let's move on to the rest of this content. So I've got this big, bold kind of introduction statement here. And one thing I want to do with this that I had this really fun idea is when the page first loads, I want this like this highlighter to like animate from left to right. Really subtle. It's not meant to draw a ton of attention to it, but I do want that little kind of pizzazz in this. I'm also exploring if I want this as a serif font or sans serif, but I'm not going to worry about that for now. So I'm going to get rid of this page description and change this header. It's got heading one. What I want to explore here is editing all H1 headers to be that same style. So I'm going to select all H1 headers and come down here, and I need to add a new font. I don't think I've added it here. So what I want to do is I actually bought a font for my company called Shape. And now that I'm shutting down my company Shape, I'm looking to get an interview, or I'm interviewing already. I want to upload a custom font here. So I'm going to go to upload, and I'm going to try to find this font called Tiempos. Beautiful font, not super expensive, but it's just a fun one. So I'm going to upload that to Webflow and use that for my H1s. And Webflow gives you this awesome customization where you can like rename all these things. And I'm just going to keep it. It's called Tiempos. I think that should be good. Okay, upload that, upload that. All right, we should be good to go back to the designer now. So I think maybe I need to refresh as well. If you're just tuning in, if you have things you want me to dive into, talk more about, let me know in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on it as I work through this. Okay, so now we should have Tiempos somewhere in here. Yeah, right here. Cool. And then what font size am I using for this? I'm going to come back here to the inspect section in Figma so I can get all the information I need. I'm using a 400 font weight, font size is 65. And if we do some math on this, I think we can get scientific. So I personally like to have my font weight as 16 pixels. I feel like it's a good medium between not too large, not too small, can accommodate a lot of different users. So I want to do, I want to turn 16 into a rem unit. So this is going to be 65 pixels. So I want to need to get 65 from 16. So we can just divide those and get 4. So now I can come back here for all H1s. So I need to select this again. I don't know why it's telling me. Why is it telling me heading? I don't want heading. I want all H1 tags to be tiempos. And I want it to be, what did I want it to be? 240? No. Wait, this is height. Why am I doing that? Here we go. What am I doing, man? 4 rem. There we go. And then I want to have the line height be a little tight. And I'm going to center it. And you'll notice that in my design, one thing I did is I actually have a hard line break after this word to try to make sure that the digital product designer element is on its own line. However, there's an interesting thing that I think we need to figure out, which is if we want this yellow kind of highlight to only happen on this text, I think we need to make that a separate object and then add some kind of animation. I actually have no idea. Let's figure out how to do this together. but the first thing I want to do is not make this medium. I actually like this idea of having the header be um, just regular font weight because it is so large. I can rely on the text height or the size of the text to really call attention to itself. So now I'm going to duplicate this. Oh, copy paste. Do you work in rems or pixels? I like to work in rem. I like to have that base 16 pixels, like I said. Then I like everything to be relative to that base. And that's just a personal preference. I don't really have a lot of rationale behind it. Krim says, can you use a span? Or you just said the word span. I don't know how to do that. Can you? I'm going to Google this. How to use span in text block in Webflow. Can someone tell me how to do this? Oh, wrap and span. Okay, interesting. So can I? Okay, so let's try that. So thanks for that recommendation. You are already saving me. Okay. So I still want to do that hard line break. That might screw us up in mobile though. So actually, no, I don't. All right, I'm gonna just do it here. Digital product designer. This is the new title that I kind of came up with for myself. I'm trying to exemplify that I've got a lot of experience. I'm highly curious. I'm also versatile. I've worked in many different things. And then I'm trying this new thing personally where I want to add digital in front of my title, which is typically product designer. A lot of people in tech know that, but people outside of tech are like, oh, you design products like tea kettles? No, I don't do that. Okay, let's wrap this with a span. And then I think I need to give the span a title. So I'm going to call this one highlight. Cool. Looking good. Now, how do I animate that span? Why are you highlighting digital product? So yeah, I want to highlight digital product designer. Again, I mentioned this earlier. It's just like a fun little focus thing. It adds a small amount of like motion to the landing page. In case you didn't notice, my portfolio is really plain, and this is kind of like my aesthetic. It's how I like to design most everything. Where I want the content to be active. I want the content to really shout and be something that's engaging. So I'm keeping things plain, but I also want to add a little bit of taste to it and pizzazz. So that's what I'm doing there. And so that's why I want that part highlighted. I don't want the entire thing highlighted. It's not, I don't know, it's already big text, all that stuff. I also want to change this section to be like masthead. And then I want to increase this margin of the container inside the masthead. I don't know if I can do that as a one-off though. Um, let's try it anyway. So I think this is pixels. Let's do rem here again and make this a little bit bigger. Oh, see, but it's doing it for all of them. Okay, so let me cancel that. All right, I'm actually not going to worry about the spacing on this for now. I think what I do want to do is change this to undo. Change this to 2 rem though, so it's how I like it. Change this to 2 rem. And then this is probably like 1.6 rem or something. That's a little bigger, 1.5. Sounds good. All right. So I'm not going to worry about all of that for now. What I do want to do is figure out how to animate this. And so I don't know why this got rid of the title though. Highlight. I think what you can do in Webflow is add these like nice little animations here, interactions. So I think on page load, we're going to do an animation on all of these things. I think when the page loads, start an animation. I'm going to do a new animation. This will be highlight animation. Select all good plus add actions. Okay, so I don't have no idea what I'm doing, y'all. I think what I can do is a background color that I can animate. I actually don't know how this is going to work. So let's just try some stuff here. Let's try like a nice red. And then what I wanted to do, so I want this initial state to be basically, okay, actually, I'm going to change my mind on this. This is not going to change the background color. I want to delete this. I want to reset everything. This is going to be a width. That's not true though either. I want the background width. So I think we can use a gradient to do that, perhaps. Can we do gradients? I don't know if we can do that. All right, I might need to come back to this. It might not be the most important thing right now to figure out, but I've got it. I've got it set there. How do you animate a background for a span? So you'll see me do this as we go through Webflow. I'm just going to Google everything I don't know because I'm not an expert in Webflow. CSS I can do okay, but this is like, yeah. So yes, this is telling me to do like a linear gradient and then animate the background position. But I don't know if Webflow gives us the control to do that, right? So we can say on page load, start this animation. And then for the animation, what I want to do is change the background. Because I think if I change the size, what I'm trying to do is have it like highlight from left to right, highlight the text. And if I change the size of the object, it's going to change the text that's visible inside of it. So I just want to change the background color. But if I can't change it to a gradient, it's not going to matter. So this is typography. Why is typography here? What happened? Try again. Background color. Yeah, why can't you do a gradient? It's kind of silly. All right, let's just try like size. I don't think that's going to work though. What the heck? Why is this not working? I don't know what's going on, y'all. Yeah, I don't want it to be on hover. I want it to be on the page load. What does a filter do? Let me get rid of this. U filter. Yeah. Okay, wait. No. What is this? I don't know what this is. Filter. What? Yeah, so this is adding a filter to everything. That's not what I want. I want it behind it. All right, just for the sake of time, I'm not going to worry about this for now. I'll come back to it in the future. I got to keep going on this. I got to make some more progress. So we're going to go back to the page and start working on the rest of it. I think I can make this yellow for now, though, just so we can feel good about it. So what yellow am I using here? Also, I'm super embarrassed that my Figma file for this is super, like, look how messy this is. I haven't labeled anything. I've got all these artboards just like, or pages, whatever we call them now, artboards floating around in space. It's a mess. I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay, so the highlight will have a background of yellow. And this might be where I can change that background though. You all tell me in the chat. Do you want me to work on this animation, or do you want me to move on to something else? Because I think what I can do is have this go this way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then yeah, I mean that's essentially what I want is to have that move across. All right, let's just keep going. So the next fun thing is this like ticker. And I don't know if I actually want to use this in the end product, but let's see if we can build it. So Webflow has this awesome command K, which is hopefully a pattern many people are familiar with, where you can add elements, find elements really quickly just by a command K. So I'm going to use that to insert a new section. Bada bing, bada boom. And then within that section, I actually want this section to be the ticker itself. So I'm going to Google another thing here. I'm going to Google how to build an animated ticker in Webflow. Yeah, an infinite marquee. I don't want to watch a video though. I just want to build it. Body. All right, maybe we'll just use this one. CSS only. Yeah, this is it. This is what I want. I don't want to clone it in Webflow though. I guess I have to. Okay, let's clone that. Uh, I don't know what that means. Let's just do that. Why yellow for that? Does that connect with your brand identity? Yeah. So when I was working on this this text here, I was thinking about what colors I could use and like what it means to me to highlight this text. And two things came up in mind. The first is at some point I will want this to work in dark mode. It's just like a personal fun thing of mine that I believe if you're browsing the web and you're using dark mode in your system, websites should accommodate, and it's pretty easy to do in CSS. So that's the first part. I need a color that works with both dark and light backgrounds. The second thing is when I think about highlights, specifically like a highlighter, the yellow is like just such a norm, I think. It's really like traditional. So it's great contrast, it's still legible, it's accessible in terms of color contrast ratio. So that's why I'm doing yellow. As silly as it is. Okay, how do I do this? How did you do this? This is one of the cool things about Webflow as well, is you can just Google and see what other people have created, and then you can kind of adopt that and use it yourself. I think what I can do here too is I'm just going to literally copy this whole thing. I think, let's see if that works. And if I come over here and paste it here, awesome. Okay, and then is this all separate text? Yeah, this is all separate text, so that sucks. I also need to make this entire marquee clickable, which I think I can do somewhere in here, right? If you all were coming here to like watch a pro make a website, you're completely in the wrong place. Sorry. This is part of how I explore things. It's how I build things. And if you're tuning in for that, then this will be interesting for you. All right, I'm not going to worry about that clicking and stuff right yet. I'm going to just change the color on this. I think I used black here. What are we saying wow about in the chat? What's wow? Yeah, it's just black for now. How did you copy paste the cloned ticker tape? I just came here to the example website that I opened in Webflow. I opened up the navigator with all the layers in it, and I just kind of clicked on this main element, Command C, came over here, Command V. It worked. Beautiful. Yeah, just simple copy paste. Pretty cool. The other thing that you'll notice in my ticker tape is that I included this little icon. I love doing these live streams. They're really fun. Thank you, everyone who's already tuning in and enjoying what I'm walking through here. So I want to like call attention to future live streams, or if I have other messaging, I want to do that here as well. So I think one thing I could do is when I look at this marquee that as it's designed, it's got these multiple text objects. They're all different objects, and that's not going to work for me. So I think what I want to do is, I wish there's a way to actually stop this. It's got to be here. Oh, maybe it's CSS. First of all, what is this CSS? How do I edit CSS? Oh, it's just this. Okay. Is there an animation in here? Also, look at this backdrop filters. Y'all, we just found what we needed. Transitions? Yeah, I didn't even know this was all here. Okay, but I need to figure out where this animation is happening. Hmm. All right, I'll worry about it later. Okay, but so what I was saying is like, I don't want to have all these different texts. I was curious if I paste different text objects in here, if they'll just appear, and it looks like they do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all this, all these example marquee texts, and just have one text object, which I think should, yeah, it's still animating, but it's super slow. And what I'm going to do is turn that into a symbol, and then that way I can have a single text object or simple object that I can repeat here. So I think what I can do is just close this, come here, make this a symbol, and this will be my I call it a ticker. I don't know what marquee is probably more appropriate, but I'll call it ticker. So this will be ticker tape text. I like that. TTT, create symbol. Okay, so now this is the symbol. And so if I change it to be like, hey, hey, how's it going? And then I come to my layer list and I just duplicate, oh, not duplicate. Oh, copy paste. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. And so now if I go to edit that text, all this text should change, right? Yeah, okay. Simple, simple, simple. Okay, so the other thing I want to do though is if I go to this ticker tape text, I think what I actually want to do is cancel everything I just did because I do want that icon in there. And I think you can't just have a text object. So instead, what I need to do is embed this in a div or a span or something. So I'm going to go ahead and do Command K again. I think I can just do a div block and put that right in here. Will that work? I don't know. It looks like it is though. So now I'm going to take this text and put the text into that div block. Come on. It's not letting me. Why is it not letting me? Go into the block. Why are you not going into the block? Go into the block. What are you doing to me? You go into the block. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so now I can turn this div block into the symbol that I want. I guess you have to do it from the artboard though, or whatever you call this. So this is going to be the ticker tape text block. And now I should be able to add like an image. So let's go ahead and grab that YouTube icon from my Figma file. Hello, let's export that. I'm going to do that as a, I don't know if I can do SVG. Is this a, yeah, this is just a static bitmap image. So I'm just going to export it as a PNG. I probably got it on the web somewhere. Make sure it's nice and big. I don't know what I'm doing. 100 width. YouTube icon. And now I think what I can do is add an image to this div. It's going to animate out away from me. That's okay. I'm going to choose the image. Oops, don't want to create a folder. I want to upload a new image into, let's do a new folder though. We'll just call this like my core folder. So one thing that I love to do when I'm building products or websites or projects is work really hard on organization upfront. If things are not organized, you're going to make it harder for yourself in the future. So I created this new core folder where I can upload some assets here. Okay, cool. Let's go back to that image. Where is it? And choose the YouTube icon. Okay. Why 100 width and not 2x for the export of the icon? I don't think it matters. Like I could have done any arbitrary number. The reason it doesn't matter too much for me is because 100 pixels width is relatively small. It's a really simple image. I'm not worried about load times. And I know it's probably never going to be bigger than 100 width. Also, if I ever do want to make it a little bit bigger, I'll have that freedom. The quality will be nice and big, all those fun things. Okay, so the first thing I want to do quickly is update this div, the text container div, to be a flexbox. And the reason for that is because I want that YouTube icon on the left-hand side and then the text on the right-hand side. So we're going to change that somehow, which we'll figure out. One thing I also want to do while we're building this is I'm just going to duplicate this. Wait, why is this not? Okay, here we go. There we go. Duplicate. No, I really wish Webflow supported duplicate, but we'll use copy paste for now. So where the heck is my text? Why is my text gone now? Something weird is going on here. Okay, so we changed this to a flex, I think. Is this not flex? Yeah, this is flex. It's horizontal flex. Why is this not working? Is it because the text inside is black? No, that's border. I don't know. Okay, whatever. We'll figure it out. The text is, what? It doesn't even matter. Let's go back here and change this image size. Text 333. I don't know if that's true though, because I just changed it. It didn't show. Let me change this image real quick. So I'm just gonna make this like 24. Yeah, there we go. That was the problem, is the text was bottom aligned, I think. The other thing I want to do is add some paddings to the flex objects, which I have here. I don't want to call this, I need to rename this too. This is like ticker tape container. Sure, that sounds good. And then I need to add a gap. Where is the gap? I also want to wrap. Why is gap locked? That's weird. And then let's do like one rem and see how that looks. Maybe don't wrap. Okay, one rem is pretty big. Let's go to like 0.5. That looks good. And then I need to change the alignment still because that's really screwed up. I want to, there we go. And then maybe we can, yeah, okay, this looks good. This is coming along. I don't know why it's only animating half the screen though. You see that? That's kind of weird. So let's also change this to be something more realistic. So I'm going to come here and copy this, paste. The other thing is this text is hard coded to be all caps, so I want to change that, which is here. Okay. Then I also want to bold the first part. Like I said at the very, very beginning of the stream, I want to have this subtle connotation that interactive items are like semi-bold or bold. This one's already medium. I'm going to go to semi-bold. That looks good. And because this ticker tape will be clickable, I'm going to want to edit it. Okay, I can't see anything though because it's all moving. What is happening? All right, we're going to do this the hard way, which is trying to guess what I have selected. All right, let's try that. And then bold. Cool, that looks good. This is coming along pretty quickly, I think. Webflow is awesome. So the other thing I can do is like look at the padding here. And if I look at this icon of the container, it's 13. I'm a big fan of 4-point grids, so I'm just going to make this 12, which I think I can just do here. Let's just do 0.8, actually. Let's not worry about too much of it. Okay, that didn't resize anything, though. Does this have a fixed height? It does have a fixed height. So what I want to do is get rid of this, and I think I can just change that to auto. Okay, so that's auto. Now 0.1 is way too small. Let's just make it like 1.6. So that looks pretty good. And I think I can also fix this issue of like the item kind of disappearing by simply adding a few more items, I think. Got to stop pressing Command D, does not work. All right, that's cool. And then yeah, I'll need to figure out where this animation actually is at some point because it's going a little fast for me. It's kind of annoying, and I don't want my portfolio to be annoying. That's the last thing I would want. And then this section, let's get this I thought I already did masthead, and we'll just do some padding here. Yeah, that's better. All right, let's do maybe 3 rem. Okay, it's not perfect. I'm not going to go for perfect quite yet right now. I just want to keep getting these going. So the next part of my design is the actual case study links, or the links to my work. So I've got these big sections you can see here with like a summary of the work, an icon of the work, title, and then like 3 or 4 images, I think. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is in Webflow, you have this idea of collections of content. And I like the idea of using collections for my case studies because that will make it much easier to control and manage that content in the future. I can add, I can take away. The one area that might be problematic is this section down here, which is like a collection in itself. These are all different items. So I'll figure that out when I get there. I also haven't finished this design. So a lot of the design of this portfolio, I'll do in real time. I'll do live rather than kind of mocking it out first. I think that's just going to be easier to do that. So let's go to collections and create a new collection. And this will be called case studies. Work? I'm going to call it work. I'm going to call it case studies. I'm going to call it work. And okay, it'll have links to website.com/work/work page. I kind of want it just to be, I don't want work. Projects. Projects is an interesting one. I don't feel like projects is super appropriate though, because some of this is like career experience and like it's some of my case studies contain projects, so it doesn't make sense to have them as projects themselves. Let's just go to that for now. I'm sure I can figure out the custom URL stuff later. So what information do I need in my projects? So, or my work, my case studies. So if I go to my current website, I'm basically going to rebuild a lot of the structure I already have. So if I go look at my existing case studies, this example from my time at Facebook, I've got a title, I've got a role, years, an introduction statement, and then like the body, what I call the body, which is like photos and text and things. I also started including like this, just like fun photos at the bottom. So I'll probably want to include something like that as well. So really only all we need is like a title. And then, yeah, I'm not gonna worry about a slug, which is essentially is the website kind of URL. I will add a few more fields though. Let's do let's do a text one for something like summary. This will be multi-line text, and this field is required. Save that. What else do I want to add here? I've got the summary. I need the title. So here's the thing with this subtext right here that I want to include in my collection kind of object entity, the schema for the object. I want to make sure that it can expand this schema in the future for whatever case. I don't know what else I might use it for, but you never know. I want to make sure I accommodate that. So I don't want to call this like title. I don't want to call it years. I may just want to call it like metadata and make it a simple text field. And that way I can use it in many different ways, right? And then do I want it multi-line so that I can do something like add a line break? I think that's okay. Let's leave that. And we're going to leave this as optional, not required. Okay. Are these required? I don't know. And then the body, of course. So this is going to be like rich text. And this is going to be body. This field is required. Save that. And then I do want to do like, I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that for now. I think I can come back later and modify this, but I'm going to leave that for now. So create that collection. Wait, what? Save. What? Okay. So works. Why is it called works? Why is it called works? Work. Save. Webflow is making this really exciting for me in that they keep adding plural on the end. So maybe project is better. But I want the URL to be something else. Work experience. All right, I guess works is fine. It's kind of weird grammatically, but whatever. And then let's add a new one. Let's get started. Let's just see what this is like. So my first one will be shape, my experience building shape. I think I can customize this later. Okay, so let's come up with a summary. Actually, instead of doing shape, I'm going to do Facebook since we already have it pulled up. It'll be really easy to do. Here's the description. As I do this, one of the things I really enjoy, I don't know if enjoy is the right word. One of the things I like to do when I'm updating my portfolio is audit the case studies that I've put together. It's a great opportunity to revisit them, to update them. And because there's already existing content, it's a little bit easier than starting from scratch. So as I go through this, I'm going to reread what I've written in the past, see if it makes sense or see if I want to modify it in some way. So how do you create an answer? Actually, I'm not going to do that during a live stream. I will do this when I add the rest of my projects, but I'm not going to reread all of this because I already can tell this is not up to date with my standards. It doesn't really align with my belief around what makes a great case study on a website. So I'm going to probably modify all this at some point in the future. For now, I'm going to leave it alone. Metadata, I'll do this. I don't like having senior in there. I'm just going to do product designer and then the year and then the body. And so the body is going to be interesting because we're going to have images and content. And I think Webflow makes that kind of easy. So I'm going to open this image, save it, keep the title that I previously titled it. I think it's a WebP, so that's a fine format. I'm okay with that. Let's see what happens if I add it. Awesome. So it adds it right in, and I can change the size. This is great. Webflow is magical. I can type a caption, or I can just go and add more content. Love it. Okay, so let's see if we can just copy some of the content real quickly here. Copy this. I do need a head or a subheader here though. Can I do that? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. So again, I won't do this for this live stream. If you're tuning in, I don't want to bore you too much. But at some point, I will go back through it and reread all of these and rewrite them. But let's just see if that's fine for now. So let's create that stage for publishing, whatever that means. Let's go back to our page. And now what I want to do is create like a grid. I think it's a grid. Maybe it's a flex. A collection list is what Webflow calls this. So I'm going to put this down here. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to create a new section first. And this will be called work container. How do I do this? This has a container. Yeah, I think if I want the same width and stuff, I'm just going to re-add a container here, which is already optimized for everything I need, except for this one's not universal. How do I make this universal? Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. I think I can just apply a container here. Yeah, so I applied that CSS class that I already defined up here for width, and that works down here. So now I'm going to add the collection list. The source will be my works. And then I want this actually to be a single, I don't want it to be a crazy layout. I'll figure that out later. Why is it not showing anything? Oh, yeah, here we go. Because in Webflow, you have to add images here. So for example, if I look at my design, what do I have? I've got the icon. We need to add that. I need to go back and add that. And then the title and the description kind of summary here. So I think I can just do a text heading, add that to the collection. And then if I click inside of it, I think, and get text from the works, and this is the title. Okay, easy peasy. And then I want to change this because it shouldn't be an H2. H2 is probably fine. I'll change that styling later. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. Let's add another text field. This will be a text block, I think. And this will be that summary text. Which, how do I do this? Why is it not showing up now? I don't get why it worked for this heading, but not here. Oh, because it's outside of the block. No? Yeah. No. What's happening? So I love the fact that Webflow has this layer list here. It makes it so much easier to manage things and kind of see why things are breaking. So if I add this text block here, oh, there we go. Yeah, I just didn't have it in the right place. So this will be summary, I think. Yeah, I like that. Let's try this. So what I want to do is, wow, Facebook's all the way down here. I want to copy all of this text and then add another text block. So I might need to change this. Okay, I'm going to edit this collection text for Facebook to be more what I had in my mock. Save that, go back to what I've got here. Whoa, why is it all broken now? How's everybody doing? Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you're getting some insightful things from this live session. Okay, that looks good. But what I need to do is add another text block for the metadata. Webflow seems to be more flexible than Squarespace, at least it's a bit less convoluted. Yeah, I mean, I came from Squarespace. That was what my website was before I built it in React. And it's great. It's okay. You can do a lot with it. It's super simple. I wouldn't have to do like a quarter of what I'm doing now, but I also want to have the ability to do a lot of what I'm trying to do now. So that's why I'm going with Webflow over Squarespace. Squarespace is great. Highly recommend it if you're trying to get up and started and running really quickly. But Webflow is really, really great for speed, I think. So what I'm doing is, I don't know if you know this is the right way to do this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I think what I might even do is get rid of this metadata concept and instead just incorporate it into this summary. I think that's probably cleaner. It just creates issues down the road for how I access that data or display that data, but let's just see what happens if I do it. So what I want to do is delete this, come here, add that, and then I think I just have punctuation in my design, right? Yeah. Okay, let's see how that looks. Karina, hello. I miss your presence. You're an incredible designer, design leader. Glad you're tuning in. And yes, Webflow is really, really powerful. Okay, so the next thing I have here is some imagery. So this is interesting because when I set up the collection, I didn't say anything about having like images or thumbnails. I only have images in line in my text. So I need to go back here and change this actually to include like some thumbnails as an optional thing. And I think I can do that from here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and delete the metadata field. It could be cool to keep that at some point. I'm going to delete it for now. And instead what I want to do is have a multi-image field called thumbnails. Okay, let's try that now. Let's save changes. Now these images, there's a few things that are really interesting about them. One is there's this really fun thing you can do in design when you have a set of images like user avatars or such as like these thumbnails that I have. It's really powerful to include a subtle 10% opacity border to the image itself. So I'll need to figure out a way to stylize that in a minute. But the reason you do that is so if there's ever an image with like a white background or a really light background like this, you have still a visual break between the background and the thumbnail that you're showing. So that's why I'm doing that little kind of gray line. That's not part of the image. So I need to make sure when I export these thumbnails that I'm not including that part of the image. So I'm going to select all of these for Facebook. I know it's like redundant. I'm not going to worry about that for now because I want these images to be small scale. Users aren't going to see them very large until they go into the case study. So that's why I'm going to use these as specific thumbnails. I'm going to export these. I removed the border. And right now they're 266 width, which is pretty small. If I think about like a Retina iPhone, when the user comes to this website, my portfolio, and they're viewing this, like the homepage, these images are going to stack on top of each other, right? Like I'm not going to have 4 images on a really tiny screen. Instead, what will happen is they'll go something like this, right? So because I know that's going to happen, I want to think about the width, the minimum width for these thumbnails as being that kind of Retina iPhone size. So there's a few ways I can figure that out. I can Google it, or just in Figma, I can create a new frame and go to phone and see, excuse me, see what it says for like an iPhone Pro Max, which is, that's actually not right. So it's 430 times 4, I think, for the Retina display. Let's just Google it and see what we learn. iPhone Max Pro. This is not helping in pixels. Okay, so that's right. So 1284 is the size. That's pretty big. I'm not gonna lie. But I think that's okay. I think we can do something close to that. I'm just gonna do a nice 1200 pixels for this. I'll save it as PNG for the highest quality, even though PNG I know is also some of the like largest in terms of file size. Also, I'm saving these all as titled rectangle 4, 5, 3, 2. That's okay. I'm not gonna worry about that. Where's rectangle 1 though? Oh, that's the logo. Okay. So let's go back here to my desktop. My desktop's not always this clean, by the way. I have all my files on my other monitor, so you don't see them. But now I'm going to come here and retitle all of these to be like Facebook thumbnail 1. And then I'm just going to call all of these Facebook dash thumbnail. Okay, now those are all ready to be uploaded. So let's go upload those to our library. Like I said a little bit ago, I think it's really important to have structure. And so what I want to do is I want to go to, actually, I don't know if I want to do it this way. I think what I'm gonna do is go into the work folder and delete this image that I'm not using anymore. I'm gonna go to the work folder and create new folders for each case study or each kind of like project. So this will be called Facebook. And so that way I can just manage all of my Facebook images from this one folder. So work, Facebook, upload. Let's find all these thumbnails. Can I upload multiple? Yes, Webflow, so good. Okay, looks great. Let's go now back to our collection, I think. Actually, did I do that wrong? Was I supposed to upload thumbnails here? Yes, that's okay. Let's upload these 4. Save, go back to the page. Oh, and now we can just add those images, stylize them. And then what's going to be great about this is once I've kind of designed this, I can just duplicate it, create a new collection object, and I'm done. Like create one case study kind of web page, and I'm done. Like Webflow just makes it so easy. It's beautiful. So let's add, is there like a gallery thing? I don't know, gallery overview, gallery scroll, gallery slider. No, I don't want that. I think I just want images. But it'd be nice if I could say for each image in this collection, show an image. How do I do that? Maybe it's grid. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do this. And I think what I want to do is have the grid be 4 maximum. And then I think I can remove the columns. How do I do this? Or the rows. Okay. No, sorry, go away. Okay. There's a way to do this. I know there's a way to do this in Webflow. If anyone knows the tip here, let me know. There's a way to say, like, for each of the assets in this collection, render that many. So if I only have 3, it'll show 3. If I have 4, it'll show 4. If I have 10, it'll show 10. I just don't know how to do that. Uh, let's Google it. Webflow grid based on collection item. I don't know how to do it. Let's just see if we can even get an image to show up. To get an image from that, it'll be, oh, why is that not working? Okay, so one thing I'm learning through Webflow, they haven't communicated this in the UI, naughty naughty, but what I've learned is I can't actually get an image that I've uploaded to this collection because it's a multi-image collection or like asset metadata, whatever. So I need to, I think it is called like a gallery. I do not work for Webflow. I am getting nothing from it, but happiness right now. Okay. So I think if I do this, thumbnails. Ooh, yeah. This is so cool. Okay, so I'm figuring it out, y'all. I just added a collection grid to this collection, and now I can do this. Beautiful. Now what I have the option to do is customize the styling of all these and clean it up a little bit. So how do I select the parent here? This is so fun. Got this collection. I want to call this, I'm going to give this a name so I can reuse it again, a CSS class. And I'm going to call it work thumbnails. All right, let's customize this. Oh, is this not the right object? Oh, I don't understand why this is not flex. There we go. So I want this to be flex. It's already got these like weird widths. That's because this thumbnail object needs to fill. Yeah, so strange. All right, I'm not getting kind of the nitty gritty here. I don't know how much that matters right now. I can stylize this later. So actually what I want to do is go back to my collection of works and see what happens when we add a new one. So let's go to, let's just go back to my file actually. And let's try adding Atlassian. So I'm going to export these ones. Same as I did last time. What was that, 1200? Why is it not showing it? I think I did 1200 for these images. So I'm going to do 1200 again. And again, they're called rectangle. So let's retitle them Atlassian thumbnail 1, 2, and 3. So now when we go back here and create this new collection for Atlassian work, I can copy the summary again from here. I already wrote these, so it made it really simple for me. Body, I'll just test for now, and then let's add these images. Now those images are uploaded, create that, and when we come to the designer again, yeah, we see these two collections here. I'm going to save. You can see up here in the top right corner, it's saved. Refresh, and we get a nice preview. Okay, this is looking pretty close to what I want. It has a lot of styling. I still only work on the animation and things, but this is working really well. So the other thing I want to do is for each of these collection items. So for example, this entire block, this collection item block, I think, yeah. I want that to be clickable, and that will go to the case study. So if the user clicks anywhere in here, that's what's going to happen. And I have no idea how to make that work. Is it element trigger on click? No, I don't want that. I don't know how to add a link. Oh, you know what? There you go. I forgot Webflow has these link objects. So that's what I need to do. So I need to come back to this collection item and add a link. I think a link block to, sure, let's add it there. And then I think I can add it, yeah, here. And then I can put all this stuff inside of it. And now if the user clicks anywhere, they'll have that way. I can't add that. I can't add the work thumbnails block, however, so I'll have to do those as one-offs. That sucks. I also need to change all this styling now. Oh boy. All right, I'm gonna undo that because I don't want to deal with that right now. I'll figure that out later too. That's not that much. Um, the other thing though is that these images like are different sizes because of the grid, I think. So okay, first thing first, collection grid. I want to make this flex. I want to make it vertical. I want the images to do that. I want to change the grid. So I want the gap between each of these case studies to be, I don't know, let's try 2rem for a second. Actually, that's column. It's the 2rem. And if I come back here, I can see that I actually have a dividing line. I decided to do a dividing line because the page just blends really together with all these thumbnails and text and things. So I added a horizontal line. Not a big fan of it, but we'll keep it. It's all Ds. So I think what I can do for the collection item, if I can find that, collection item, is give it a border. But what I want to do too is title this something. Give this a class of like work preview. And now if I go give it a border here on the bottom, let's keep that color for now. Let's add some padding. Let's do like 2rem. I should have a border, but I don't see it. 1 pixel. Here we go. Okay, cool. So I added that padding there, but now that the spacing, the gap here is really screwed up. So the spacing I'm giving this is 2rem. So I want the gap to be 2rem. Oh, it already is. What? It's because this has padding, I think. Yeah, it says margin right here for this header. Okay, so that's pretty balanced. I'll probably clean that up a little bit more in a minute. I also need a way to add the icon for the logo here. So I think what I'll do for that is just I'll do another. Let's see, how did I design this actually? So I've got us the icon and the name are kind of aligned, and then everything else is indented. And there's a few different ways I could build this in code. In my mind, what I'm doing is breaking this down into two kind of containers. So one way to do it would be to, nice, thanks, Figma. How do I just lock this down? So one way I could do this in code is by creating a block like this, and then creating another block that's below it for this content, right? And then just indent all this content and have this content be flushed out that way. But what I want to do instead is say, this is a container, and then this is a container. That'll just make it easier to build because then I don't have to indent all this content, and this long section here can just be that indent to make sure that everything over here is consistent. The one thing I need to keep in mind though is how is this going to scale when I go to mobile? And I don't know how that's going to break down, but let's find out. So I'm going to clear this out and then come here. And what I want to do is create a div for this work preview. Sure. And then I want to duplicate that div. Oh man, I keep doing Command D and it doesn't work in Webflow. Why? I'm going to move all this stuff into the second div, if I can. Okay. And now I've got this div here, so we can add just like a random image to it. See if it works. Let's add this one for now. And I can select this the parent container and just do flex grid there too. Yeah, done. Beautiful. But why is this one screwed up? Let's add a gap here. Okay, so that's a good start. I know what's going on here. I need to set a hard size for this image though. So let's do again like 24. Why is this not working? Oh, you know why it's not working? It's because flex grid is saying this should be displayed like this. But what I want to do is say the flex width, it should have like a minimum width. I think that's okay for now. There's a lot of okays for now in this because that's just how it works. We're making progress. I think I can preview this now if I come here. Yeah. Okay. I want to make this text a little bit bigger. This is okay. I kind of dig it, you know? Let's keep going. How are we doing on time, everybody? So let's come and let's try to stylize some of this stuff, clean it up a little bit. The first thing is I want to add this H2. Well, this should not be an H2. This should be an H3. Oh, this is an H3. This is going to be like little H3. It's a fun title. And I want to change the size. I still want bold. I want semi-bold. Change the size to be, I don't know, 1.6 rem. Keep doing that. It's the height. I want the size. 1.6 rem. That's a little too big. Let's go down. What did I do here? Because this is pretty good, I think. 20. Yeah. So I think that's pretty spot on. And then another thing I was curious about is if I can bold this text, but maybe I'll figure that out later. Let's figure out what's going on with this grid of thumbnails. So we've got this grid and it is flex horizontal, so that's good. It's got no gap though, so that's weird. Let's give it a 1 rem gap and we'll leave rows blank. We do want to wrap, and I think part of the reason we want to wrap is for mobile. Yep. So while we're looking at mobile, like everything broke. So let me just quickly kind of update this while we're looking at it. And I'm just going to manually type this down. Also on mobile, really anytime you have text that is more than 3 lines, it should never be centered aligned. That makes it really hard to read. Whereas if you just left line it, it looks a lot better, much easier to read. Yeah, this is kind of weird because that orphan N. So I might want to try playing a little bit more. That looks good to me. Let's change this, the padding and things too. Okay, let's just go to 0. That looks pretty good. And then I'll need to figure out this. I think what I can do is say for mobile, I might want to change the direction. Yeah, so it puts the icon above. And then I need to figure out why is that a different width and height. Yeah, let's do like 32 here. And then for this width itself, it should be 32. Okay, so now that should look pretty good on mobile, I think. Yeah, it's getting there. Okay, let's go back to this thumbnail grid here. So we've got it. Yeah, what the heck? Why is this? Why did it go back to? Because we've got like a div and then the collection list inside the div. And this is what needs to change. So I was editing the wrong thing. That's okay. Happens to the best of us. So what happens if I do this? Yeah, okay. Fantastic. And then for each collection item, we do not want any padding. And we want to make sure that the image is 100%, max width 100%. Beautiful. Okay, now it broke here though. I'm not sure why this is different. Did I not put this in a div? Collection list 2. I don't understand what's happening here. All right, another thing that's driving me nuts is like the gap between this text and the thumbnails is kind of bad. We've got this padding here. Why is this -10? Where did -10 come from? I don't understand. Let's do centered, and I think we just left start, flex start. Okay. Yeah, this sizing on this is really screwing me up. Why is the max width of that collection item so weird? Hmm. I'm actually not sure what's going on here. Yeah, so flex grow or flex shrink. I think I don't want either of those. I just want anything to happen there. Alignment, center, it doesn't matter. Hmm. Yeah, something's really screwy here, and I just don't have the energy to focus on it right now, so we're just gonna keep going. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I need to get the icons. I need to add more case studies, so let's just export these icons real quick. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give them titles. So this will be icon shape. And now I can just export these all real quick. I think, yeah. Oh no, where's the shape one? Here we go. Okay. Then we can export all of these. Let's do um, let's do the same thing we did for the YouTube icon, and we'll do 100 width. So now another thing I need to do is go back to my collection for the works and modify this structure to include an icon or like thumbnail, or not thumbnail, an icon. So now when we go to any of these, I can add that icon. It has a white background, I think, on that image, maybe, which will not work. So I need to go modify that a little later. Okay, now we go back to the page and go to this collection and change this image to be the icon. Look at that. Simple. All right, we are making really good progress. This is great. We're trying to figure out what I want to do next before time is up here. We've been streaming for a little bit, and yeah, let me know if you want me to focus on anything in particular. If I come back here and look at this, I think what I want to do next is actually tackle one of these project pages real quickly. So um, if I go to this pages list, I'm going to add a new page. And this one, oh, actually, I don't think I need to do this. Hang on. I think if I go to the works template page, this is the same thing that will show up for any of the templates. So yeah, I can see here in the top it says Facebook. So I'm going to include that navigation bar. And then I'm going to have to figure out some things here. So I think I'm going to go for this overall layout here. I'm not going to include the ticker tape on any of my sub pages. It might be too annoying. So what I can do is just create a new section. I don't even need to create like classes for any of these things because it's going to apply them to everything already. I should do an H1 for these pages, but because I stylized that so interesting, I'm not sure it's going to be the most appropriate, but let's see. Let's see what happens here. Get text, title, sounds good. Do a text block, that summary, and then a rich text block for the content, the body. Okay, Webflow makes this like too easy. It's almost scary. Okay, so I don't like this H1, which is fine. Let's go to H2. I think that's okay. And that displays all the content. So now I can go to Atlassian. That will be there too. I need to work on these little arrows too. Those going to get translated in rich text. How's everybody doing? We're going to wrap up here in a minute and I'll continue another day. But I want to quickly finalize this by going back to the home page and making these links. I really need to figure that out. Webflow make collection. I got the link. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know how I want to do this. Hmm. Because I can't add the, oh, you know what I can do? I think I can add these now. So if I just do this, I should be able to add this link to here and then add the divs. It's gonna make this styling really gross. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, I can't. Collection list wrapper cannot be weird. All right, it's not letting me. There we go. We can at least make this. Okay, and then for the link, which we have here, it's now just this little block here. I just want to take it to that collection page, current work. Okay. And then for this block, I can't add it because of the div, or the collection, this stuff. So I think what I can do is copy and paste this link block, move it into this div, get rid of the div block there, and then try to move some of this stuff in there, I think. Yeah, there we go. And then I'll have the images themselves be links. No. Yeah, like that. Wait, is it gonna let me? I don't understand here. Weird. Okay, so now if I preview this, I should be able to click on this and go to Atlassian, go back. Why can't I go back? Screen just locked. Why can't I go back? What is happening? Okay, so preview, and then if I click here, all right, that's cool. Then I can go back to the home page, I think. No, that link doesn't work. So let me fix those two real quick. Are these links? Yeah, these are links. Okay, so this one will actually just go where you're already at. I don't want you to be a page. I want you to be home. And that's it. Cool. Save that. Whew, a lot of work to do, but yeah, it's made some really good progress. I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Thank you for your help, for your suggestions, for your questions. This was really fun for me to kind of get through. I feel like we made really good progress, even though there's still a lot of stylings to be done, even though there's still a lot of pages and information to get put on the page or on the website. This is really good progress. I feel like I can really knock this out. So if you want more streams, you want me to tackle different things, let me know in the comments. Let me know by reaching out on Twitter or LinkedIn. You can learn more about me at tannerc.com. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. It was great hearing from some of you. I really, really appreciate it. Hope you got something out of this conversation. Really appreciate it. I'll see you later.